give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense.
What is going on today, Sober Motivators? I'm your host, David Sherwin, and today we are on another episode for Sober Motivation Podcast, and I wanted to drop some inspiration for you guys that are struggling right now with all this that's going on in our beautiful country. I know we've got the COVID-19 still at large, and we got some protests and riots coming up, and I felt like this was a good time to put out an episode for myself because I was hitting a wall with my own personal motivation, and I felt like I was just struggling with everything. And then I stumbled upon some ideas for myself, and one of the things that I put up recently, it was about how to be motivated, how to get projects going that you want to get going. And one of the things that I stumbled upon was from an article that I recently posted on my Facebook feed, was that if you feel like you have to do something, then your attitude towards it is going to be different. So for me, I personally realized that that was a big issue because I felt that I can set things up and I can get things going and make it look beautiful, but as soon as it starts to feel like a chore, my inspiration for doing it just drops down. It feels more like a job than a passion that I enjoy doing, and that can be the difference between getting something done and not getting it done because of the fact that it just starts to feel like a responsibility versus something that you get to do, which is what this pointed out. And I started to think about that because it changed my perspective on what I was doing again. And this is a growing process for me, being in recovery and working on the things that I'm working on. It's been a mindset change to see everything and to grow how I think about things differently. And I started putting out some content on my social media pages, and I picked up a resource. It's a content planner that will actually show me what days that I should post and kind of give me an idea of what to post. So it's working pretty well, and I highly recommend for those of you who are looking at getting a project going, either if it's something similar or if there's just something else, try to figure out if there's like a routine that's pre-made for you and to just kind of roll with it. Even if it's not perfect at first, you can always adjust it and make it work to how you want it to work. And one of the things that I was picking up from this whole process of posting things on my social media pages that I have, Facebook being the big one, I asked, what's the most useful thing that you own? And I got a lot of cool responses that really made me realize this is not something I have to do. It's something that I get to do. And I got a lot of cool responses, a lot of them being recovery, their sobriety, which I felt in my heart. Like I appreciated the response of that. I saw the Bible in my recovery, the Quran in my recovery. That was cool. And this whole thing for me is it's just doing it and just rolling the ball with it and enjoying it as I'm doing it and realizing that it's not something that I have to do, because honestly, being sober is not something that I have to do it because it's my life. It depends on it. But at the end of the day, it's all choices that you're going to make regardless. And I realized that I don't have to be sober. I get to be sober when I wake up. I don't have to wake up without a hangover. Like, I get to wake up without a hangover. I get to get up, meditate, read, get out of bed, go take a shower, and get into action for the projects that I enjoy working on. Podcasting being one of them, vlogging being another, finding different things that I can work on being one of them. Started working on building out some of the studio. It's kind of hard for you guys to see it right now. I'm still working on a lot of the logistics of building a cool looking studio, but did some sound treatment on the room. So I'm not sure if the audio sounds any different for you guys, but it looked cool for me to do, and it was enjoyable for me to kind of just sit down during the weekend with the fact that I can't really go anywhere and kind of work on something that I've been wanting to work on for a while. And just went out, picked up some foam. It wasn't expensive at all, honestly. It was about maybe $200, and I honestly could have easily have spent that on alcohol in a week. And instead of spending that $200 on alcohol, I now have $200 in something that I can look at and appreciate for the future, and not wish I spent it and not ever see it again. So it's been really cool to do that. Start picking up some little bits of resources that I can use to help me out with my platform, and that's just kind of where it's taking me right now. And again, I hope you guys are finding something that you guys can work on in all this turmoil. And I'm going to drop a sponsor right here. If it's a podcast, go for it. Honestly, like I said, it's an enjoyable project. It's something that you can build out into it in so many different ways. Like it's a small project. You don't need a lot to get started. You only need at most maybe your cell phone, and you can really get the ball rolling from there and just build on it as you go, as you can, as the opportunities arise to build on it. And you can build out whatever you want. You can sit out and build up a YouTube looking studio. You can go write a book and promote it on your podcast. You can do so many different things with it and build relationships along the way as well, which to me has been profound in all of this. Just being able to talk to new people, like doing podcasts. Like I did that podcast with Troy from Ravers for Recovery, and I still talk to him all the time on Facebook. Not all the time, but we keep in touch. He comments on the stuff that I put out. I like to interact with whatever he's putting out, and it's just cool. It's just it's a different community that I didn't even think about being in touch with, that would open up my mind to these things. But again, that's where this episode is coming, to just let you guys know that I know there's a lot of stuff going on, and I feel for it deeply. I feel bad for those who are struggling in the middle of all this that can't do anything about it. I think that's where a lot of my hurt lies. Like, I know that some of the infrastructure that's set up when these protests go on and the looting and all this other stuff goes on, my argument for all of this was the same as it was in Ferguson, where when you tell these people to go home, there isn't really a place to go home to, and then to say, oh, we'll just focus on school. Well, school's shut down too. Like the school's even shut down. So some of their only avenues of escaping the hell are shut off for them. And right now everything's shut off. So it sucks. But at the same time, I would offer the idea of building yourself spiritually first. And that for me was a big deal. So the whole meditation thing is extremely important to me. Grounding myself, grounding my feet is important. And to come from where I was at to now, it came from something inside. It wasn't something that outside of me could have changed how I felt. It came from seeing what could be instead of what was. And I know change can happen. I've seen it. I've made it. I've made it out. I can tell you, if I was podcasting while I was drunk right now, my whole demeanor, my energy would be really way off. It would not be like this. And I think that's what keeps me coming back to enjoying this and realizing that I get to do this. I don't have to do it. And it lets me reflect on all of these things and to kind of see a brighter future for for things rather than just feel like you're stuck and you can't go anywhere. And it's the growth is it's not done through materialistic things. It's done through internal means. And I was just thinking about it, how much your internal functions or your internal gears, how much of a difference that can make. And thinking of just the leaders that we've come to know in general, how it's not so much of what they came from or whatever it is, it's more of just who they were as a person and how that kind of attributes to their success and being able to maintain that groundedness, but also the positivity that they can put out to those around them. And I put out a recent picture and it says, I use my candle to light yours so now that we can both see. And I hope that that provides a little bit of help as well. I think for those of you who are in a positive light for themselves right now, maybe think about using your light to light other people's light and let both of you see, because the more light, the more you can see, the more you can move forward in trying to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm feeling the energy, I'm feeling the positivity despite all of it going on. It's from what I see, it's terrible, and I feel horrible for the people that are affected, the people, the small businesses, the the abrasiveness, the divide that's going on, and it's horrible to see. But I believe having faith in being able to stay spiritually positive is what will get us through this trial of for all of us. So that's where I'm at with all of this. I believe that staying positive, not giving up, don't give in to your demons, don't give in to your vices, don't let there be a reason that you go back to an old way, because like I said, at the end of this, it's not something that you have to do with staying sober and staying motivated and working on the things that you're working on. It's something that you get to do every day. Every moment you feel like moving, you get to get on it and get into these projects and work out and be there and be present and build the things that you want to build. So that's where I'm at today. Hope you guys are doing all right today on Monday. Hope you guys are all motivated. Hope you guys are getting up with a little bit more positivity. Hopefully this brings you some positivity. And I'm looking at doing some more things in the next couple of weeks. I'm looking at doing some collaborations and just trying to make this schedule work to where I don't get burnt out from doing it and still maintain the positivity of doing it. So there you have it. There's this episode of Sober Motivation. Never give up, never give in. Keep moving forward. Shout out to Winston Churchill. And again, if you guys want, follow me on Facebook at Sober Motivation, Instagram at Sober Motivator, Twitter Sober Motivator, YouTube Sober Motivation. It's everywhere. It's going everywhere. I'm working on it, and I appreciate the support as always. All the feedback that I get, it's always appreciated. The people who listen in, I appreciate that so much. Like, to see that people actually want to hear my message is what just gives me more energy and more motivation to do it. So there you have it. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Hope you guys all are staying sober, motivated, and I will see you all next week.